Naples is one of the worst cities. Garbage, dirt, devastation. Therefore, today I will try to explain my negativity. How is it that the great city of Naples, the third largest city in Italy, with 3 million people living in it, now looks as if there has been a massive janitor strike here over the past year? Everything is really littered with garbage here: the historical center, the tourist center, the squares with the main attractions. Garbage is even on the roofs of houses. But I can't help but note that there are garbage sorting containers in a civilized country. I remind you, we are not a poor African country that uses a landfill of household waste. We are in Italy, the 8th place in the list of the richest countries in the world, the 4th place in Europe. And this is an important point, because of which I am not ready to call it a flavor or an exotic atmosphere. And this is the flavor: yes, European architecture is being devoured by a foreign culture. But it seems that even in poor countries they understand that garbage must be taken out. Here we are still in the same Italy. Here are European prices for food, travel, and housing. That's all for these piles of garbage. You won't believe it, but Naples has garbage even on the trees. Yes, this is not a joke. There really is a man living somewhere who walked there or rode with a folding chair in his hands and just threw it away. And the chair got stuck in a tree. I remind you, this is a first world country. Therefore, look up, look around too, otherwise you may be knocked down by a sneaking mopedist. If you think that I am now specifically showing particularly poor areas, I also thought so at first. Okay, but what if I, sitting in this pile of garbage right next to the subway station, say that you haven't seen the scariest thing yet? Even garbage has been taken out here several times, but there is one area on the outskirts that simply shocks you. In the 60s, the city grew to the north. They wanted to make an alternative to the narrow streets of the center: wider streets, tall apartment buildings, no shopping and industrial zones. In short, they built a residential area called Scampia. The cleanliness is not much better here, but the main buildings of this area are the experimental residential quarter of the sale of Scampia. Initially, 7 such sales were built, with a capacity of up to 70,000 people. The railway station is nearby, parks, a variety of internal and external public spaces. This is the most depressing place. I don't want to get a knife in the barrel here. The sales were never fully completed. No 70,000 people have ever enjoyed the progressive ideas of modernist architects here. You must be surprised. But initially the area was so-so, and the complex was quickly squeezed by the mafia, and soon it turned into a ghetto. At one point, it was the best place in Naples to buy drugs. Networks of public spaces and suspended walkways could very conveniently be blocked from the police, and iron gates could be installed. Here and now, some of the floors are ready for a zombie invasion. It looks so abandoned. To clarify, there are a lot of abandoned apartments here, but people still live here, right now. There are also fewer than 7 sales. The fact is that since the late 90s, the authorities have periodically demolished one of the houses. In 2020, they took up the 4th house. And now the most amazing thing is that Naples is not in the best condition right now, especially in terms of garbage. What we found are just echoes of that hell called the Italian garbage crisis, which literally engulfed the city in 2007. Regional landfills were overflowing. Mountains of garbage that had never been taken out lay on the streets for months. The top officials took the issue under personal responsibility, and the government sent troops to clear the city. That is, all this is no longer a garbage crisis. It is progress for the better, which suits everyone. There are a lot of dumpsters here. There were even stories that eco-activists threatened to set themselves on fire next to huge landfills that poisoned the air with poisonous fumes. Those polygons are still there. This is the nature of the south of Italy. Waste recycling plants are so old that they have become a separate ecosystem. Garbage bushes are making their way through the film, and garbage ducks are frolicking in the garbage mines. But how did it happen that the 8th economy in the world, which, judging by the number of colorful cans on the streets, has been obsessed with separate garbage collection for 10 years, cannot grab and take out packages? The answer is simple: the mafia. Here it is called Camorra. She has taken root in all spheres. She controls both government and business, including the garbage market, both landfills and logistics. Therefore, any attempts to intervene from the outside and solve the garbage problem were drowned in the swamp of Neapolitan corruption. Gradually, the most acute phase of the crisis, of course, was passed, but it will take many years to completely clean up the city. Unfortunately, the saddest thing happens during this time. People are just used to living in mud. I wish I could expose the false stereotypes about garbage Naples, but you just have to accept the truth about this city. Just in case, I'll clarify, of course, there are cities where there is more garbage on the street, where houses are more shabby, but an apartment there usually does not cost 200,000 euros. And probably if you go here, it's to see that Western Europe can be different. including one that Italians don't want to talk about.